Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel. It is time for another chatty get ready with me, and today, of course, I just got a deep dive about all things of my upcoming move to Seattle. If you didn't see my updates or my posts about it, I am moving to Seattle in not that long, like just a month or two, and I am so excited. I am so stressed. I'm so ready for this next chapter. I am so not excited to have to move again since I literally just moved like 2-ish years ago now, a year and a half ago, so that's not great, but we make it work. I'm sitting down to film this technically right before my move has been announced, and we've got the cute little headband on today because look at all of this psoriasis around my hairline from stress. Ugh. My skin is just very much feeling the fact that I'm stressed about this move and conference coming up, but it's fine. Moves are stressful, we manage, but yeah, it is officially countdown to Seattle time. I've only got 2 months before I move, so I'm getting everything planned out and finalized right now, and I'm just really excited. So of course, y'all know these are our hangout sessions. I had to sit down and I don't know, just sit down and chat and catch y'all up on what's going on with this move. And if I'm being honest, I'm basically just as surprised as all of you are about this move because I really plan to guest and travel for at least 2 years, if not more. And I was really enjoying guesting and traveling, and really I think hitting my stride with it. I'd found a good rotation of studios I was going to. I was starting to get invitations to more different studios. I was starting to think about maybe doing some international stuff and things like that. And don't worry for my international followers, that's still in the pipeline. I was starting to feel the desire to be back in a studio full-time again, but not in a very heavy way. So making this choice is literally just as much of a surprise to me as it is to you. I first went and guested at Laughing Buddha in Seattle after conference last year of 2022, and I had a really amazing time guesting there after conference. It was wonderful. The staff was great. The studio was great. The clients were great. Everything about it was awesome. And they've been having a rotating schedule of guests out for a couple of years now. So they were like, hey, we enjoyed having you out. Would you want to come back? And I was like, absolutely. I would love to. I really enjoyed my time here. So I went back in November, and I once again enjoyed my time. I really enjoyed seeing Seattle in the fall. It is a very beautiful city. I was definitely struck by how much I enjoyed the city and the culture in the city. And I'm from Philadelphia, and don't get me wrong, I love the spirit of Philly with my whole heart and soul, but it's not my favorite city that I've been to. Same thing, I also really enjoyed living in Nashville, but again, not super my favorite city. I really enjoyed, Seattle's public transit. Obviously, no system is perfect, but I definitely thought Seattle's public transit was, leaps and bounds above Philly or Nashville or Miami. I just enjoyed the integration of nature into the city in Seattle and just how well it worked with nature. And I just kind of enjoyed the culture of the city and the folks that I was meeting and working with. And my second guest spot there went just as well as my first. Once again, I love the staff, I love the studio, everything is set up so well. Everyone was so easy to work with, everything was so easy to figure out and acclimate to, which isn't always the easiest when you're guesting and traveling. Sometimes it's actually really, really, really hard. So that was wonderful, and they made me the official job offer, and I was I don't know. I'm still technically guesting and traveling. I was planning on doing this for a while longer. I'm not 100% if I'm ready to settle down at a studio. And I'd gotten some other job offers from other studios I'd guested at this point, and only a handful of them were like, I liked the studio enough to really be considering, and Laughing Buddha was definitely one of them. And, you know, it just made me start thinking about what I did miss about being in a studio full time. And then every time I went back, or every time we'd be talking, they were like, you know, we'd still love to have you out here. Like, we think you'd be a really good fit for this studio. Like, here's what we're offering. And just everything about it was too good to be true. I was like, I would be foolish not to take this incredible opportunity that is being offered me here. And as much as I've loved traveling and guesting, and I plan to continue traveling and guesting, do not get me wrong, that was one of the things that I really enjoyed about this offer, is that they were very upfront that they knew that I had been traveling, and they knew obviously that I enjoyed it. For me to have been traveling for like a year and a half now and like still have the energy and the desire to do it. Obviously, I really enjoyed being a traveling piercer. So they were like, we're totally fine with you continuing to do some guest spots while you work for us and like continuing to travel. We're not gonna like, yeah. Some studios really limit how much you can guest. And I understand it to a certain extent because the studio is like hiring you as an employee, and if you're not there working, like the studio is not making money, like you're not taking clients, it can be like financially difficult for the studio and also just difficult on staffing. But the way Laughing Buddha is set up is very flexible for staff to be able to travel and take time off if they want, whether that's just time off for a vacation, time off for medical stuff, or time off to go and travel and work other places. Fortunately, some studios are just kind of weird about it. They're like, oh, we don't want you going and like working for other studios. Like, they're the competition. Even if you're working at a studio that's like states away or even countries away, they're still, I don't know, a lot of places are weird about it. And I've definitely worked places like in my apprenticeship where the concept of like going and working with another studio was unheard of. My mentor would have never allowed that. And so it meant a lot to me that they were still very open and encouraging of me guesting and traveling and working other places, and like very comfortable with me still getting to do these things that I enjoy. But I don't know, like, it's so hard because I really do love traveling. I love getting to meet all sorts of different clients and work with all sorts of different piercers and different studios. I think it really keeps me on my toes as a piercer and like technically challenges me and keeps me pushing my skill level and pushing my knowledge. But at the same time, there's a lot about being in the studio that I definitely miss. Like, yes, being in the studio was what burnt me out, and yes, I definitely needed my time away, but I miss like having regular customers and like regular client interactions and getting to see people often, like every month, and check in with the same clients and like, you know, just build more of a connection, find out about people's lives, how things are going for folks. Like, I miss that human connection that comes when you're in one place and you can work with the same people over time. And that also means being able to do like cool, like bigger and more involved projects. Like, I get to do a lot of really cool work when I travel, but I'm usually just doing like 1 or 2 piercings on a person at a time. It's not really like I'm doing like big whole ears or big whole face setups, because I'm not gonna do like 11 piercings for someone in one sitting. That would just be unethical. Like, it would be too much, it wouldn't heal right. Like, so I haven't been able to work on some of these big projects. And as I've been guesting and traveling, I've been like taking down little notes and jotting down little doodles of like ear projects that I want to do and facial piercing projects that I want to do, and just like ideas that I have that I would really need to be stationary in one place, like working with a client over the course of many months to like complete and achieve these projects and these goals. So being stationary in a studio will allow me to start doing stuff like this. And I'm so excited. Like I said, I've got a bunch of doodles and ideas and concepts. Once I'm like settled and stable at Laughing Buddha, you better believe on probably Instagram, maybe here on YouTube as well, and on TikTok, I'm gonna be posting like, hey, I have this idea for like an ear piercing project I want to do. Any volunteers? Like, I'll do discounted piercing fees. Or I have some ideas for some facial piercing projects I want to do. I have some ideas for some genital piercing projects I want to do. So I'm just really really excited about some like very creative, very fun projects that I can bring to fruition once I'm like working in one place. Another big element of it was also just like being kind of ready to relocate somewhere. Now, I grew up right outside of Philadelphia, and I spent a lot of time in and around Philly all throughout my childhood, all throughout my teen and early adult years, and obviously I moved back here, and I will always love Philly as a city. Like, I will always have a major, major soft spot for it, but it's not one of my favorite places that I've lived. In South Florida and spent a ton of time in Fort Lauderdale and Miami. I've lived in Tennessee and spent time inside and outside of Nashville. I grew up partially in New York, right outside New York City on Long Island. I've traveled all over the country, and I am not kidding you when I say I have faced the most discrimination, the most like overt outright sexism, the most homophobia, the most transphobia, all in Pennsylvania. Like, by an absolute long shot, all in Pennsylvania. And I live in Northeast Philly, and down in like Center City and Old Town in the neighborhood, it's much better. It's not great. I definitely deal with more like catcalling and uncomfortable interactions on the street in Philly than I do basically anywhere else I live. Florida is a really close second on that one, but Philly is definitely worse. At least in my experience, like the moment you are outside of Philadelphia city limits, it is not great. I talked about when I moved here having very difficult experiences at the DMV because of my gender marker, like right outside Philly, like I drive by it all the time, going to some of the places that I hike and go outside. There's like a bunch of Trump stores, and I grew up outside of Philly in like Bucks, Montgomery County area, and there is a massive KKK presence there. Like, my stepdad has lived there most of his life, and he remembers the KKK, like, handing out flyers on street corners when he was a kid. My high school Gay Straight Alliance got shut down for 2 years because of threats towards the school for us even having a Gay Straight Alliance. Like, it is still a very conservative area. People call it Pennsyltucky for a reason, and I respect that a lot of people really enjoy living in Philadelphia and have really had great experiences. I have not. And after being back for a year and a half, I just know that this isn't where I want to put down roots for forever. Even with all the things that I love about Philly and the city's history and its vibrant culture and its wonderful communities, all of the people here that I love and care about, like the absolutely gorgeous natural beauty that is Pennsylvania. Like, I'm constantly out kayaking in lakes and rivers, out hiking. It is gorgeous here. It's just not my favorite place that I've lived. And being back here as an adult has really cemented for me that this is just not quite the right place for me. I don't necessarily know if Seattle and Washington is going to be 100% that right place for me, because obviously, like, it's certainly not perfect out there. It has a lot of its own issues that are not dissimilar to the issues I've had living in Philly. But I've never lived on the West Coast, and it's an exciting change of pace for me. And I will say, just in the time that I've spent so far in Seattle, and especially things like navigating finding housing and getting an apartment and all of the things that come along with that, like utilities, and like experiences at the DMV and things like that, it's already been leaps and bounds better than it ever was in Pennsylvania, than it ever was in Tennessee, than it ever was in Florida. Like, I've always struggled with finding housing as a very modified person, and slowly being more visibly queer has only made that harder. And I was overwhelmed at how welcoming and inviting the housing process was for me in Seattle, and the fact that I didn't face a lot of the issues. Like, when I was trying to find an apartment in Florida, I literally would like show up to tours and have people take one look at me and see that I have like tattoos and piercings and be like, no, we don't want to rent to you. Like, we're not even going to bother showing you the place. I got turned down like immediately. You know, it was a very uncomfortable situation. And again, I don't think Seattle is perfect, but so far I haven't had that happen. So I'm very excited for the change of pace. I'm very excited to be there. Also, the Pacific Northwest is just gorgeous. And as someone who loves like being outdoors, like hiking and swimming, I'm definitely excited to check that out. But the other thing that I think really sold me on like settling at Laughing Buddha and working in Seattle, aside from the amazing staff and the amazing coworkers and just the amazing energy and vibrancy in the studio, is really the clients. Out of everywhere I've traveled and everywhere I've gone, I know I've done, like without a shadow of doubt, the most like gender affirming work and services in Seattle. And that has rapidly become some of my favorite work to do when it comes to body piercing. I love getting to do gender affirming work and helping people just feel comfortable and safe in their bodies and get to experience euphoria and get to be a part of people's transitions or their healing or their trauma recovery. And I get to do that work all over the place, don't get me wrong, but I get to do so much of it in Seattle. Vibrant, thriving queer community there, and there's so much interest in piercings and body modification, and it's just been really incredible to get to do these services and provide this for folks, and I really want to continue doing more of that. And the clientele in Seattle just seems so perfect for me to explore a lot more in depth with that in this next like stage in my career. And the clients have just overall been so wonderful. You know, I was very open about this during COVID, but I dealt with a lot of like genuinely abuse from clients. I had people spit directly in my face. I had people throw water and coffee on me. We had someone make a bomb threat against our studio for refusing to pierce a minor without ID. Shit was wild in Nashville. Shit was wild. I worked in Florida for 5 years. I was like, I'm prepared for anything. Like, nothing can shake me. Nothing can shock me at this point. Tennessee clients were a different breed, and I had a bunch of amazing, wonderful, kind, incredible clients there, but bro, a bomb threat over not piercing a minor without literally any documentation. Just unreal. But Seattle clients have, by and large, been really sweet and really genuine and really kind and thoughtful and understanding. It's been a really delightful experience, and it just really feels like the right fit. And I'm just so excited for everything that this next chapter can bring me in my personal life, in my professional life, and just... I'm moving to Seattle. I'm moving to the West Coast. Like, we are about to embark on such a huge adventure together, and I literally cannot wait. And I'm a big believer in, like, fate and signs and just, you know, moving, especially, like, directly across the country is really difficult. But so far, this move has been, like, suspiciously easy. I found like the most perfect apartment for the most insanely incredible deal in the most perfect location, like right away when I was apartment hunting in Seattle. Like, all of these different things aligned for me to be able to get this apartment, and like just an incredible twist of fate. The staff at Laughing Buddha has been amazing as far as like helping me with this move and helping me coordinate things. Everything has really fallen in place super perfectly timeline-wise, like with when I'm going to be able to move and how things are going to happen for the move, and all of the logistics so far have been not terrible. Like, obviously it's still moving, but having moved across the country multiple times, this is, at least to start, one of the, like, smoothest experiences I've had. And I don't know, it just feels very kismet that it's all falling into place so well. And I just very much feel like I'm making the right choice and the best choice for myself, my personal life, my career. And I've never really felt this confident about a move before, you know? Like I've always had these like crumbs of doubt in the back of my head where it's like, oh, like I'm moving across the country. Like, what if this doesn't work out? Like, I hope I like it there. I hope they like me. I hope that it's like a good fit. I hope everything like goes good. And not that I don't have some of those feelings. I don't know how you could move across the country and not have a little bit of that concern, but man, I have so few of them about this. Like, I just feel so sure and so confident in this. The staff and the team at Laughing Buddha have really made me feel just so wanted and so welcome and so invited, and that's been just like such an incredible feeling. And yeah, I'm so excited to take y'all along on the journey. My schedule in Seattle is also going to allow for me to continue filming and doing content creation, and actually I will have, ooh, my hair! These bangs out of the hairband. Oh my gosh, hold on. Okay, there we go. So much better. Where was I? I'm going to be able to continue making so much content. I'm actually going to be able to do even more content and even better content. Right now I film in like this little corner area of my partner's like gaming like desk area in our apartment, and it's very small, and I haven't been able to make a lot of changes that I've wanted to make to the space, like painting it or hanging up more fixtures or things like that. That is all going to change when I'm in Seattle. I have a whole room dedicated to filming and content creation in my new space, and I get to paint and set it up exactly how I want, and I have 1,000,001 ideas for how I'm going to do it. I think it's going to be gorgeous. I think it's going to be beautiful. I'm just over the moon excited for how good this space is going to look. And I have a lot of support at the studio for doing content creation, and once I'm locked down in one place, I think it's going to be a lot easier for me to film more piercings and post more work of me actually piercing, and work on some really exciting projects that I've needed to like see clients back multiple times on for YouTube and for TikTok. So oh, you have no idea. I kind of want to take y'all on the journey of like decorating and setting up my new space and kind of more like lifestyle stuff, because while I've enjoyed living with my partner, I'm kind of excited to have my own space and like decorate it exactly how I want it and make it really funky and just make the whole space areas where I can film and sit down and hang out and chit chat with you guys. So yeah, very, very exciting content updates. I can't spoil like everything for you yet, but there's so many good things coming with this move, and I just wanted to sit down and share some of my excitement with you and some of the updates. And yeah, I'm so ready to take y'all along on this journey and see what this next chapter holds for me. I know in my heart that this would not be possible without the support of all of you who've been following me on social media and here on YouTube and just helping me make these moves in my career. So I am so unbelievably grateful and just humbled and honored to have your support and have you here with me and be able to take these next steps and do these big things. So yeah, we're in this together, and this is just so exciting. It was wonderful sitting down and hanging out. I think our next Chatty Get Ready With Me is going to be in the new Seattle apartment, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, exciting new things coming. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'm sure we'll sit down and chat again soon.